Yes, this mic is all yours.
Oh, it's Thankful Thursday, and I'm so glad. A thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. Before you ask, Globals right there. Um, I've been doing PowerPoint presentations of just him, monthly things. I was almost going to put one on the slide, but I changed my mind. But then we never know. I may change my mind again. That's the good thing about having choice. I can change my mind and then change my mind about my mind, and that's just a wonderful thing. And Lord knows I need that today. So I am going to figure out. Um, I have a new monitor, and let's see if this works. Let me know what you see. Do you? Oh, you do see it. Okay, it's working.
Yeah,
All right.
looks good.
Well, the thing I have two monitors going on, so I'm actually right here with you, and then over here to my immediate right is the new monitor. So I'm playing. Wait a minute. What do you see? What do you see? Tell me what you see. Somebody tell me what they see in front of them.
I
What's in
see A
front?
Course in Miracles meets the Science of Mind, screen
Okay.
sharing.
Okay, so that's the right thing. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. And that's exactly what we're doing. And we're going to do it the cute way. We're going to do from the slideshow way, do it the cute way. Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind. Um, and other mental sciences, not just science of mind, but other forms of mental science, which is what this all is. It's just the proof that what we think determines our lives. We make our own lives. Um, we're the creating because we are created in the image of God, and in that regard, we have that power. We have that power to do that, and whether we do it, how we do it, is really up to us. Um, all right. So, an Egyptian proverb that I found and loved is the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whoever shall know himself shall find it. And of course, we're reminded to mind our mind. Dr. Ernest Holmes teaches that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. If I want to be happy, if I want to be sad, if I want to be great, if I want to be you know, yeah, if I want to feel small, whatever it is, however I choose to think determines how I live. To learn how to think is to learn how to live. And we're going to look at, well, we'll get to that. The course teaches us that this is a course in mind training. These are all courses in mind training. And a reminder that all learning involves attention and study at some level. And also that an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. And I can go on for, reading and even studying, but not applying. The good thing about the workbook of the course is that the practical. It is for practicing. It's the doing part. It's the doing part. It's the me deciding that I want to change my thinking, that I want to change my life. And the way to do it is to practice, practice, practice. It's to guard my thoughts. It's to uh, not be too quick to let my mind wander, not to be in a sleep of forgetfulness. It's a matter of training my mind because an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. Dr. Holmes reminds us that thoughts and things are but two ends of the same proposition. Since it's impossible to stop thinking, we cannot stop creating or making, as the course calls it, making. Same thing. And here the word creating is basically what I said earlier, that we are created to create. And sometimes our creations are miscreations. The miscreations are the things we make. Our choice is whether we shall create constructively or destructively. Are we going to make the destructive? Are we going to choose the things that hurt? That are we going to choose fear? Are we going to choose a thought system that isn't real? How can that be? How can we choose a thought system that isn't real? This conversation came up about fear of the unknown. Does that make sense? Does that even make sense? How can I be afraid of what I don't know? And to think that I can is insane. I'm afraid of what I don't know. That's like, I'm afraid of Cujo, the dog, Cujo, who's not real. I'm afraid of the dark in the room, even though there's nothing, I can't see what's in there, but I'm afraid of it. It makes literally no sense. Afraid of the unknown, which then takes me to the conversations that have been of late about physical transition, dying, as we call it. People are afraid to let the body go, but we're taught in the course, and I believe that we make the choice to let it go. It's a choice, it's a choice. It can't happen until we're ready, and there's so much evidence of that in terms of how people live, how they live physically prior to that, to some of the things they say, some of the things they do, which oftentimes are looked at in hindsight, not recognized at the time that they're occurring. Yeah, so we have all these choices, and we choose to be afraid. We choose a thought system that doesn't exist. We're choosing something that doesn't exist. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Absolutely no sense. So we choose to create constructively, or whether to create destructively. Are we creating for our own best interests? Although everything is for our own best interest, are we creating to be happy? God wills nothing but perfect happiness for us. Let's workbook lesson 101. God's will for me is perfect happiness. 101. And the course reminds us that because thoughts and things are two ends of the same proposition, that all thinking produces form at some level. Because it's impossible to stop thinking, we can't stop creating. All thinking produces form at some level. Whether we see it or whether we don't isn't the thing, but knowing absolutely that it is there. We don't always see the form in the moment that we think the thought, although when we think a thought, as I'm saying this, as I think a thought, I envision something. I envision something in a split second, and then I have a feeling. And then I either well, I have to do something. Either I'm going to act based on what I feel, or in a way that can be seen, or I'm going to give thought, which is still an action. I'm going to give thought to what I'm feeling. Why am I feeling this? So that I can start to let it go if I don't want to feel it, or to recognize, this is that I'm letting this trigger me, and hi baby boy, that I'm letting this trigger me, and to start to look at that so that I can begin to release those triggers, because all things are lessons that God would have me learn. All things are lessons that life would have me learn. Everything that happens, past, present, and to come, is gently planned by the one who only intends for my good. But if I'm not looking at the good, if I'm not focusing on the good, if I'm not thinking, what's the good in this, then I continue to go into the rabbit hole and into the rabbit hole and into the rabbit hole. I was listening to a conversation just prior to this about Karen brought up talking about what Lori was talking about, that when we continue to pay attention to what we don't want, we keep getting more of what we don't want. If I'm focusing on this screen and I don't want this screen, what am I going to get? More of the screen. We tend to focus on what we don't want and think that we're doing the opposite. We think that we're getting rid of what we don't want by paying attention to what we don't want. We say, oh, I hope, I brought this up on Monday, now think about it. I hope, drive safely. Don't get into an accident. Well, if I don't want you to get into an accident, why am I focusing on you getting into an accident? And you're saying, but I'm not focusing on them getting into an accident. I'm focusing on them not getting into an accident. And I'm saying the universe doesn't hear not. The universe doesn't say no. God doesn't say no. God might say, wait, but God doesn't say no. So everything that we think about produces form at some level. So, and that's something we have to be careful of right now. It's something that I have to be careful of because I've got an anger thing going. Oh, I have an anger thing going, and I don't even want to talk about it. I just putting it out there that my energy level is, I'm not feeling my nifty, on top of the world self. But as I'm saying these things over and over again, I too am reminding myself from Workbook Lesson 101. As soon as I said it, I felt a shift that God's will for me is perfect happiness, perfect joy, perfect peace. That's God's will for me. And how I choose to look at it, well, sometimes I have to work on it. I have to work on it. So our power quote for today is from Robert Collier from his book, The Secret of the Ages. And I'm going to try this power quote thing. I'm going to try to do this power quote thing on a regular. It's going to be part of my thing here. The world is a looking glass and gives back to every man the reflection of his own thought. Now, I didn't take the time to look up the history of Robert Collier, but in terms of, and I could do that. I may be able to do that. Oh, not now. Not now, though. Not now. I'm not doing that now. So I hit something on one screen and it came up on the other. And I don't think that that's what you see. I'm trusting you're still seeing what you were seeing before. Okay. Anyway, old gentleman had lots of years under his belt, lots and lots of years under his belt. Um, he was he and Ernest Holmes and all those boys were around the same time, and Joe Goldsmith, all of them were all around at the same time, and here we're reading that which we already know, that all thought produces form at some level. He says the world is a looking glass and gives back to every man the reflection of his own thought. Workbook lesson 23 says that there's no point in lamenting the world, and there's no point in trying to change the world, because that is just the effect. It's giving me what I am reflecting in my own thoughts. If I change my thinking, I can change my life. I change my mind about the situation automatically changes because it was never the situation in the first place. It's never what's out there, it's always what's in here. Projection makes perception. And from the science of mind, and everything that I pulled up today, everything that's going on today is um, for my own well-being, because um, I'm having feelings that I don't want to feel, and that must not be true. I must want to feel them, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be feeling them, right? Um, but I'm talking myself through it and talking myself through it, and I'm here to talk myself through it. Nothing can happen to us unless it happens through us. Nothing happens to us. We are not victims of the world we see. Nothing happens to us. We are not victims of the world we see. Nothing can happen to us unless it happens through us. That which we refuse to accept to us cannot be. Cannot be. And that which to us is cannot help becoming a reality in our lives. And the Course teaches us that. We see what we want to see. We see from the inside and then make that world outside. It just goes without saying. And Regis, we have today from workbook lesson 135, 235 rather, 235, which is the, oh, speak of which, I see a hand. Go ahead, Regis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That is too funny that
It's
I
too
put
cute.
my hand up and then you put my picture up. That was perfect timing. That's like, um, but as you were saying, in the previous quote, uh, about the world is really a reflection of our mind. The world doesn't tell us who we are, but it's um, just a reflection of what we're thinking. Yesterday, lady uh, that I guess been living here in Colorado, a native of Colorado, she walked up to me and asked me literally, she said, I have a question to ask you. I'm like, okay. She said, do you find the people in Colorado rude or blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I said, no, my wife and I, we have found everybody to be really welcoming and kind and uh, flexible. We haven't ran into any rigidity where people, oh, well, this is the rule, there's nothing else we can do. I said, everybody we've had to
Order.
deal with kind of had a level of common sense when the color outside of the lines. So she said, well, a lot of people say that Coloradians are rude. And I was thinking, well, that's not what we're thinking, and that's not what we were expecting. One of the things I uh, said to my wife before we got here, I said, leave Nashville in Nashville. All of the critical, judgmental thoughts that you have about Nashville, don't bring that to Colorado because that's what's going to manifest in Colorado. So it was like, leave that behind. And so what we expect is what we're getting. We're expecting uh, lightheartedness. We're expecting kindness. We're expecting that things work out for us easy peasy, nice and easy. And that's what we experience. And as she was asking me those questions and telling me about all the other people that are recently moved here that are experiencing it, I just thought, well, you know, that's not what we're thinking. That's not what's being reflected back to us. And those people that moved here probably moved here with a lot of anxiety and skepticism and all of their political thinking and whatever else they're thinking, they brought right with them when they came to Colorado. But my wife and I have had many candid conversations just between ourselves about how great it is and how great the people are. So it is that reflection of you, and it would be great if everybody started realizing that. Thanks.
Thank you, Regis. And there's a story about that. There was a wise man standing at the fork of the road and uh or standing along the road and a man comes up to him and he says, I am I am on my way to live in such and such a, in this place. And he says, I hear that um uh the people are rude, the people are mean, the people are unkind. And he says, do you think I will like it there? He says, no, I don't think you will. And then later on, another man comes walking up and the same thing. He says, I'm planning to go live in such and such an area. He says, I hear the people are, oh no, I told that wrong. I told that wrong. That first man was talking about the place where he had left. And he was saying that the people there were mean and rude and all that kind of stuff. And he was told, then you probably won't like it. You won't, you will not, you're not going to like it there. And the second man came up and says, I'm looking to move to such and such a place. Says, now the place I'm leaving, the people were so kind and the people were so sweet, and I always had a great relation with the people there. Do you think I will like in this new place? He said, I'm sure you will. And it's basically the same story. That's written somewhere. I don't have that. It's a little longer story, but it's the same point. Wherever you go, there you are. You're bringing you with you. You're bringing you with you. There's a lot going on in the chat. I have to find out. All right, let me not go too much further here. There's a whole lot going on in the chat. Since I came on, let's see. At 9:30, Karen said, look at the problem as it is, not the way you set it up. Yes, yes. And that's, but a lot of the time, the problem is that I'm setting it up the way it is, the way I think it is, the way I think it is. Somebody said something, and and I say they hurt my feelings, and then when the truth is I let my feelings get hurt. But no, I'm saying they hurt my feelings, and therefore they're responsible, and now I have a reason to feel such and such toward them. And Dove goes on that the ego it says analyzes, but it's analyzes. The ego analyzes it. It holds on to stuff that's really not there. It holds on to stuff that is not there. And I was telling my chiropractor yesterday that that it's written in the Bible that it came to pass is in there 727 times. 727 times. But spirit accepts, and that's key. And Dove continues, what could you not accept if you knew that everything that happens, all events, past, present, and to come, are gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good? What could you not accept? What could you not accept? So even because all things are lessons that God would have me learn. And as I said, I'm having some unpleasant feelings and emotions and thoughts right about now. But but even that, I'm recognizing that it's part of a process, that this too is a lesson that God would have me learn. This too is something that I need to accept. And the sooner I accept it, the sooner I can let it go. Oh, I'm eager to do that, like right now. Oh, right now, it doesn't feel good. And Dove wrote, we are choosing a movie, a dream, our imagination. And exactly. And what have I said? We're running a movie with no film. We're running a bad movie with no film. Sometimes we're running a good movie with no film. Either way, it's our movie. We set it up, our script. We wrote it. We're writing our own script, and we want to blame somebody else for that script. It's your fault that I don't feel well. It's your fault that I'm angry. It's your fault. You're the reason. You're to blame. And as long as I see it that way, I don't have to assume responsibility for any of it. And continues, all movies are playing in the twin theater. In a twin theater. That's right. From a split mind. Split mind. And Karen wrote, twin theater, happy dream or nightmare. Yes. Oh, these two have a conversation going on in themselves in here. Duff. I love that. Wait a minute. Let's see if I can bring that up and copy that. And come out of this for a moment. Just enough to put a new slide on the screen. You all seeing a new slide? Somebody say yes. Give me a thumbs up if you're seeing what I'm talking. I'm just put a new. Okay.
A new blank slide, yes.
A new blank slide, and this is what Dove just posted in the chat. An inconvenient truth or a reassuring lie. What? An inconvenient truth or a reassuring lie? We don't seem to want the truth. We seem to want to be more. Thank you for that, Dove. Don't you like what this PowerPoint thing can do? Regis, thank you so much. Regis helped me figure out how to work the two screens. He had talked about it. I bought the monitor, and I was sitting there, and all I kept seeing was my own face on the second screen. I didn't want to see that. So I now know that I can see, look with one spot, and then I can come over here. Thank you so much, Regis, for your help with that. Thank you, Dove, for this. It is now for posterity, part of the June 6th presentation today. Thank you. I'm going to put your name in there. I'm going to put your name there. I'm going to put, well, right now I'm just going to put your name there, and I'll figure out what to put next to that, because I can't, because it's not yours. You didn't make it up, so I can't do that. But I can put your name in there because I need to remember where it came from. And I'll figure out how to, there we go. Thank you for that. Okay. Back to our slide show. An inconvenient truth. How about that? We don't want the truth. You can't handle the truth. And Dove wrote, I can choose to see the lie that tells me I am right, or be happy with the inconvenient truth. Oh, that's what I need to put in there. That quote. And I will, Dove. That's what I need to put in there. The quote.
And it's so true that we can find the truth to be so inconvenient because we want to be right. We got a wrong thought that's making us upset. The thought is clearly making us upset, but don't you dare interrupt that with the truth.
Right?
You gotta laugh.
We don't want the truth. We can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
It's a capital I there, Dove.
It doesn't always work with our story. Like one person I've been working with, and I continually say that, I used to talk about this, what's the soundtrack in our life? And Regina mentioned that too, that she had a soundtrack, that life sucks, and if you have a soundtrack that people don't treat me right, people leave me, people abuse me, uh, life is hard, well, that's going to manifest in many ways. And when the truth comes and try to interrupt that thought, I'm not a victim of the world I see, it's very inconvenient when I've had a soundtrack for 20 or 30 years of this is how my life always works out. So you have all of these form manifestations, but the bottom line message is always the same. We get stuck in the form and we want to discuss the form. But again, as Lynn said in the previous hour, what is this teaching me? Or somebody said it, I may have been Dove. But what is this teaching me? What is this here to reveal to me versus getting stuck in whatever the form is today? It could be the job today, it could be the kids tomorrow, it could be the grocery store the next day, but it's all the same message. And what I've been retraining myself is everything works out for me, easy peasy, nice and easy. I told them about the first job that I got when I got to Pueblo, Colorado. From the time I put in the application online, in less than 48 hours, I was hired. Most people don't even get a call the first day. I got a call within 2 hours of me putting in the application. And I showed up at the place the next day and they was trying to hire me, and trying to make me work full time. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But, and then I talked about getting approved to teach to be a substitute teacher in Colorado. They have a bit more of a process, a bit more of background check and fingerprints and all kind of stuff that you have to go through. Once that was cleared, I sit here. Yesterday was Wednesday, so I sit here Tuesday night. I said I was going to bed early, but I got moved to just put in the application Tuesday night. I finished the application probably about 11 o'clock, maybe 12 midnight. And when I woke up the next morning, the director of the substitute teachers had already emailed. It said, school is out now. This was like the final weeks of school, but we'll be back in touch with you the 1st of September. so,
Yeah.
so in less than 8 hours, and my wife and I, we talk like it don't even happen for her like that. Most people, you put in an application and you wonder for weeks and days if they gonna ever reply. So, but you gotta reprogram that subconscious mind that life is not hard. Life is easy. The world is a safe place. Everything works out for me, easy peasy, nice and easy. You have to reprogram that story that
Yes.
you've been telling yourself for 30 or 40 years. Thanks, Zulma.
That's absolutely right. I'm so glad to hear you saying this because it's exactly what I need right now. I have to remind myself that these things, these thoughts I'm thinking, and these feelings I'm feelings. It's just a reminder that somewhere back there, I think I think that what someone said that's not true well, it's not even that. It's not even that. Without all the names involved and all the details like that. Someone asked another person. There was a person that had stopped talking to me for I absolutely had no idea why. I mean, had been in contact like one day, yes, and then the next day, no, and not anymore for at least a couple of years. And I had no idea. I had attempted to make contact once, twice, three times. That's it. Anything after that, it feels like something else to me. So I had stopped. I just stopped. And as it came up in conversation with someone else, a conversation I knew nothing about, the question was asked, well, what did she do? And the response was, she didn't do anything. And the other person said, yes, she did something. She knows what she did. Now, notice that nowhere in there is there anything about what I did, because I did nothing that I was aware of. And in this conversation was nothing I knew nothing about this conversation until yesterday when I got the phone call, because it was things were being repaired, and I get this phone call and a great conversation, but then I was told that this is what was said. Now, you hear how this is total ego game, because she knows what she did, which was nothing. It was told to me. I can't do anything about it, and I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm angry that that this person was talking behind my back and all this nonsense. This is and it's all me now, and I know it. So that's all the story I'm putting out there. But I had to say it out loud, just because it fits so well into this moment, and holding on to. Listen, what the course teaches. It's not anything. Not that we're not going to have it. It's just not to hold on to it. Not to hold on to it. I have to remember that it's come to pass. It's all come to pass. That even this that was said happened a couple of years ago, which was in this other person's opinion, in their mind, the reason why they stopped. And not so much because they knew I did something, but because they were told that I did something that they didn't know. I mean, when I say no sense, it almost sounds like, well, what if it was, if I did something over here, did I, put a spell, this all, this, it's, whew, whew. But anger and I don't sit well. We don't, I mean, I'm literally feeling it. I'm literally feeling it in here and in here, and I'm gonna keep talking. Um, and I'm trusting that when all is said and done, then all will be said and done. I just have to keep talking it through, because workbook lesson 235 says that God in his mercy wills that I be saved. Let's go there for a minute. I need but look upon all things. This, by the way, is Regis's birthday lesson, which is the reason why his picture is there with it. You all see that, right? You all see the screen? Yes. Give me a thumbs up, somebody, if you see the
We
screen.
see you now.
You see me. I don't want you to see me.
You look beautiful. We're glad to see you.
I don't want you to see me. I want you to see. Oh, that says two, screen one, screen two. Ah, interesting. Okay. That's what I want you to see. See Regis?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
we
see
see
Regis.
Regis.
Yes. This is Regis's birthday lesson. And anyone who wants their birthday lesson done this way, please send me a photo. I'd be more than happy to. But this is perfect. I need but look upon all things that seem to hurt me. We were talking about this on Monday. This is how it came up. That seem to hurt me. I am looking at that thing out there that I am saying is the cause of this anger. It is the cause of this pain in my chest. It's the cause of this pain in my head. When I know that the cause of the pain in my chest, the pain in my head, are my thoughts about the thing. I need but look upon all things, that thing in particular at this moment that seems to hurt me, and with perfect certainty assure myself, God wills that I be saved from this. That's going to have to be my mantra for a little while, and merely watch them disappear. And I wanted to disappear. I was at 9:15. I'm on Eastern time. At 9:15, when it was time for me to just come on to just to put my come in and make it known that I was here, I was already asking, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And I realized that that would be in me in the sleep of forgetfulness. That would be me in not guarding my thoughts. That would be me not engaging with God. And my goal is to not is to engage with God so that I can have all these things disappear. I want it to disappear. I need, but keep in mind, my Father's will for me is only perfect happiness. Oh, I see a typo in here. I'm gonna come coming out for a minute. I have to fix that. And the screen share stopped. I didn't realize that. All kinds of things are happening. I am learning how this works one step at a time. But I need to fix a typo. Okay.
While you fixing it, I'll say something about my birthday lesson.
Go ahead, please do.
um, I need to remember God wills that I be saved from this. That's what. See, I'm focusing on the truth. I'm not. The focus is not on wanting to see this disappear, because that's resistance. That's the disappearance is not my business. My business is, with perfect certainty, assure myself that God wills that I be saved from this. I know that. That's what I know. I know God loves me. I know God wants me to be happy. I'm focusing on the truth. If I'm focusing on, I want this to disappear, then that's just resistance to what I'm seeing. And what you resist persists. See, you said earlier that we think by focusing on what we don't want, we're doing something. We think we're getting rid of it, but what we are is allowing it to stay. So it's it's really the Sedona method in a sense, in that, okay, I'm okay with being upset with that. And now I'm just going to focus on, I know God wants me to be saved from this. I know God loves me. I know God's will for me is happiness. That's my business. The fact that it disappears and when it disappears is not my business. And that is what's so hard for the thought system, the ego thought system, is we think that if I keep thinking about Donald Trump and how wrong he is, he won't get elected. But that's what keeps keeping him in front of us. That's exactly what keeps him in front of us. Uh, I said that's why Hillary Clinton lost to him, because she didn't follow the Obama method. Obama wouldn't give him any attention. Obama just stayed on business. Obama just stayed on his agenda. Hillary got caught up in all of his darts that he was throwing, and she started talking more about Donald Trump in her campaign than she did than she was talking about her agenda.
Mhm.
And he takes everybody out that way. He takes all of his political opponents that run against him in the primaries out that way. They start making their whole campaign about the incompetencies of Donald Trump instead of talking about their agenda. And I'm like, why don't they see the Obama lesson? That you just stay on your business and let all the stuff that you don't want take care of itself. So it's really the magic of it all, the beauty of it all is I need but remember. I ain't remembering what they said. I ain't remembering what they did. I need but remember. I'm not remembering even how what they said makes me feel. I need but remember God wills that I be saved from this. I need to only realize God wills for me is happiness. And merely is the key word. Merely, without effort, just haphazardly watch them disappear. So thanks, Zulma.
That's a good point because you can't think two thoughts at once. That's an excellent point. You know, if I'm focused, if my focus is on, if I am assuring myself, if with perfect certainty I am assuring myself, and as you were talking, I started getting tear filled because I started hearing it differently. I started that whole situation. I started looking at what was true about what was true. What you know, my feelings, my good feelings about the individual that made the comment, knowing that the individual, you know, is this is I'm not special. The individual would you know would talk that way about you know anybody, everybody. That's just you know how that individual was because of the pain within that individual. And even as you were talking, Regis, I was starting to look at you know let me stop looking at what they said that caused this problem and blah blah blah, and I started looking at it differently. I started to assure myself with perfect certainty. Thank you for that. I'm sitting here actually, and I'm glad y'all can't see the screen, can't see me right now because there's tears coming at my eyes, and it's a good thing. And but Gloria mentions that if we do not allow it to come up and feel it, we cannot let it go. And that's true. Thank you for that too. Because if I had not, I told myself, I'm not going to talk about this. And I'm glad that I said just enough. Just enough. Regis Dove says to give that advice to Joe Biden now. Although I have to admit that one a commercial that said that we're okay. So I have to say this. You all know I don't. I used to say I don't watch the news, but my client, you know, I'm working 3 days a week now as a caregiver. I absolutely love it. But the television is on all day long. So the 12 o'clock news, the 4 o'clock news, the 4:30 news are presented to me on ABC. And but there's this one commercial I had never seen before until you know I started working with them. But in one of the comments that he makes, you know, he says, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. I'm like, really? Ouch. That's you know, that's whew. Um, but yeah, but I agree to talk about what you want, not about what you don't want, because you create what you don't want. And that's exactly not just what the words we say, but first in the thoughts we think. And that's exactly right. I was focusing on the wrong thing, Regis. Thank you. Needed your birthday lesson to help me. See, I was a reason to put this up today. I was gonna just send it to you and let you appreciate it and enjoy it. But I'm gonna send it to you, of course. But I am going to highlight again as before this part. I can't do it right now because it's in what you call a mode. It's in slideshow mode, but I will highlight again as I did on Monday. With perfect certainty, assure myself, God wills that I be saved from this. That's all I need to do. That's all I have to do is the assuring myself part. All I have to do is engage with God, engage with God, engage with God, and not focus on what's out there, because there is nothing out there. It's not the thing that I'm upset about. It's what I think about the thing. Karen, come on.
That's bingo. It's not the thing that I think I'm upset about. It's my thoughts about it. I am never upset for the reason I think. God wills that I be saved from this and watch them disappear. And what I'm learning in the course is that God wills that I be saved from these ego thoughts. God wills that I be saved from these thoughts, my interpretation that I'm thinking about these things. Today's lesson, today I learned to give as I receive. He tells us in the very first paragraph, what has been given you? The knowledge that you are a mind, in mind, capital M, and purely mind, sinless forever, holy, unafraid. So this just keeps bringing me back to the power of decision, and that we, of course, that we are in the mind of God and that we never left, but we of course think we did and we believe we did every time we judge or think that someone's judging us or believe what we see out there is the truth, right? What the purpose of this course is to recognize the power of our thinking. So why do I allow things outside of me to upset me? This is what I've been practicing a lot lately. And I'll tell you what, it works. Every time that I think that whatever someone says, whatever meaning I'm giving it, I can put so much meaning on things. It doesn't matter, you know? I mean, I could see peace instead of this. I don't have to. I am never upset for the reason I think. I don't have to blame that other person or think it's that other person that's upsetting me ever. And that is the truth of the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, my Karen. Thank you. It's it's never and you know, there's a workbook lesson, early workbook lesson. I am never upset for the reason I think. I'm upset because I see something that's not there. I am making up the story, putting out that soundtrack. I like that. Um, and I saw somewhere that Glorian had wrote, yeah, all we have to do is accept the atonement for myself. That's it. That's it. Accept it for myself. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this chat as I always do. But I think I'm going to take what you all are putting in the chat and put that in the same order that it's put down there on the slides as best I can, and present that perhaps on Monday. I yeah, I'm gonna just to so we can do some recapping here. Um, and Lynn wrote this a while back. Was that has been very patiently watching, but not biting on the bait. What is I'm missing something here. I'm not Lynn, I don't know what that first word is.
Joe, you could, if you went down, you'd see I just misspelled it
Oh, okay. Okay. There
based
we
on
go.
what Dove had written about,
Yes.
tell Biden about that. And I said, well, he has been being very patient and not attacking in the way that he very well could have been,
Yes.
and still could be anyway.
Yeah, as we all, we're all saying, well, we can. And even then it's about remembering that, this, you know, he's in pain too. And that, the form might be different, but the content is the same. The same way, I'm talking about this individual is the same way I can talk about any individual. And in this moment, we're talking about DJ Trump. Um, uh, what people put out, what's in them. What comes out of a person is what's in a person. What comes out the mouth is what's in the heart. So, people in pain put out pain. And even as I'm saying that, it starts to. I'm feeling better, and I'm feeling more compassion for the individual that made the comment, as well as, I've always said I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't know Donald Trump. I mean, I know what I hear him say, and I know what I know. I hear him say things, and I know what I think about what he says. I all that, all that. It's important to not attach myself anymore uh, to what's happening outside of me. I really am feeling better. I'm feeling this whole thing just it's just coming undone. It's coming undone. Ooh, I'm accepting the atonement for myself. I'm accepting I'm coming off screen for a minute. I mean, I'm coming off because I had to do that. I wanted you to see that. I'm accepting the atonement for myself. And it feels darn good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo! All right, we're gonna finish reading workbook lesson 135. That part of it that's on the screen anyway. Screen 2. Oh, this is great. I need, but keep in mind my Father's will for me is only happiness. I need, but keep in mind that my Father's will for me is happiness, that God's will for me is only happiness, that life only wills happiness to me. Life doesn't punish me. Life doesn't condemn me. Life doesn't make things bad for me. Life isn't doing anything to me. Life is moving through me as me, for me. It's all for my learning. It's all for that one lesson. All things are lessons God would have me learn is excellent. All things are lessons that life would have me learn. All things are lessons that truth would have me learn. All things are lessons that love would have me learn. That even in that moment when I'm feeling what I'm feeling and thinking that I'm separate and apart from whomever and whatever because of this being said or that being done, the truth is that it's all still one, that it's all one source. We all have the same spiritual DNA, that my thoughts are mine, and I have the option to hold on to them or let them go. I have options, and I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for the options. I'm feeling pretty darn good. Lynn put a quote in the chat. Why would you seek to try another road, another person, or another place when you have learned the way the lesson starts, but do not yet perceive what it is for? We've got the information. We've got it. It's been given to us. The purpose is the answer to the search. Come on, come on. The purpose is the answer to the search that all must undertake who still believe there is another answer to be found. I mean, going round and round in circles. I mean, is that not so? That the ego can't answer anything. The ego is just a lie. It has no answer to the question. Seek but do not find. Its purpose is the answer to the search that all must undertake who still believe there is another answer to be found. Learn now, without despair. There is no hope of answer in the world. No hope of answer in the world. Mm, mm, mm. Wait a minute, I lost my place here. Lost my place. How does that happen? I'm gonna have to grab the book for this one. I'm gonna have to grab the book because the sliding back and forth with this thing. Every time a new message goes up, the old message disappears, and then it starts sounding disjointed, and I don't want that to be the case. So I'm going to have to go up a little bit, try to do this. What has been given you? No, before that. Um, okay. All right. Oh, I don't like this. Another found in the world. I'm trying to find where that actually is, but I'm having
It is
difficulty.
chapter 31, section
Section
4,
4,
paragraph 4.
that's one. Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, every time somebody puts something else in there, it disappears. You know how that goes. It disappears on the screen, and then I'm trying to scroll back. And one of the hardest things to do, one of the hardest things I have found to do is trying to scroll in the. Regis, go ahead while I'm doing this. While I'm looking for this.
Okay,
Scroll.
thanks. Yeah, as you was going into that second line, um, and I need, but keep in my Father's will for me is only happiness. To find that only happiness has come to me. Now, the key words after the comma, my Father's will for me is only happiness to find. There's two ways to find something. There's two ways to find something. TWO, to find something. One way is you lose your keys, you search for your keys, and you find them.
Mm.
The other way, which this is referring to, is you go put on some clothes you hadn't worn in a long time, and you find $20 in the pocket.
It's
See, you
always
wasn't
there.
searching, no efforting. You're not searching for happiness. You just focus on the truth that God's will for me is happiness to find
Mhm.
that only happiness has come.
Mhm.
So again, in this second restatement of the first statement, it's still not focusing on trying to be happy, looking for happiness, looking for how happiness is going to come out of this situation. But my focus is just on knowing that God's will for me is happiness to find. So it's still no efforting in this form or physical world. It's, oh, I just happened upon happiness. I wasn't searching for happiness. The search is over.
Mhm.
And we have to keep that in mind. Thanks.
That's a good point. Are we not? Does the course not teach us that being and having, well, not just the course, but you know, that being and having are the same? The $20 bill that you use an example was in that pants pocket or in that jacket pocket the whole time. The happiness is right here already. All I have to do is keep that in mind to find it. Just know the truth. Know that happiness is already here. Because if I'm focused, if I'm keeping that in mind, then I can't keep anything else in mind. If I'm keeping that in mind, then my thoughts, I'm guarding my thoughts. If I'm keeping that in mind, I'm not letting my mind wander to other things. If I'm keeping that in mind, then I'm not going into the sleep of forgetfulness. If I'm keeping that in mind, if I'm keeping in mind that my Father's will for me is only happiness, I can't help but find it because it's all because actually I'm finding what's already there. It's there. It's just that I had closed my eyes in the sleep of forgetfulness. It was already there, has always been there, and cannot go away. It can't unless I'm in the sleep of forgetfulness. But when I'm keeping it in mind, I'm engaging with God. Thank you for that, brother. Thank you for that. Engaging with God. Now, I want to go to, and I really ought to put it on the screen. Let's see if I can figure this one out. Let's see if I can do this. Get off of here. Stop no, I don't want to stop the share. I want to go into the course online. Now, let's see. I don't know which screen is going to, okay. It's on the screen. We're going to come out of this. You still seeing the same thing, right? Okay, so I have to come out of this. This back and forth thing. Woo, this is fun. Not. It can be, because I never know what screen something's going to come up on. I don't know what you're going to see. I don't know what you're not going to see. Copy, paste. No, but better yet, let me go into chapter 31, section 4. Let's do it that way. Of course, an advertisement comes up first. I want nothing to do with that. All right, chapter 31. See, Lynn, see what you started, Lynn? Section 4. And it's paragraph 4, section 4, the real alternative. You guys can watch me do this so it doesn't feel like you're having a lull moment. Which screen I went on? I went on screen 2 for now. All right, section 4, and we're moving down to paragraph 4. Why would you seek to try another road, another person? Or is that right? Is that the right place?
That's it. And you
Okay.
can X out the little bar at the side so we don't have to see all the menus.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Why would you seek to try another road, another person, or another place when you have learned the way the lesson starts? It starts with keeping in mind that God's will for me is perfect happiness, but do not perceive what it's for. Apparently, I don't, I've learned the way the lesson starts, but do not yet perceive what it is for. Now, this is in chapter 31. And it's saying there that we do not yet perceive what the lesson is for. Its purpose is the answer to the search that all must undertake who still believe that there's another answer to be found. And back in, I think it's in the Antichrist in chapter 29, it talks about that whole more than everything thing, where we're looking for, the and after God. There is no God and. Another answer. That's the and. More than everything. That's the and. There's no such thing. Learn now without despair. There is no hope of answer in the world. There is no hope of answer in the tangible. There's no hope of answer in what we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. No hope. But do not judge the lesson that is but begun with this. Do not judge the lesson that is but begun with this. Seek not another signpost in the world that seems to point to still another road. There is another road. No longer look for hope where there is none. There's a sentence in the course that says that to place your hope where no hope lies makes you hopeless. To seek hope in a place where no hope lies must make you hopeless. No longer look for hope where there is none. Make fast your learning and understand you but waste time unless you go beyond what you have learned to what is yet to learn. In other words, go keep in mind that God's will for you is for me, for us is perfect happiness. But keep in mind that God's will for me is perfect happiness. For from this lowest point will learning lead to heights of happiness. From the place of thinking that what was said, blah, 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 and that that's made me feel blah, 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 and that I should feel blah, 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 and that I should, be upset with the person, blah, blah, blah. From this point, from this lowest point, will learning lead to heights of happiness. From this lowest point will learning lead to workbook lesson 235, 101 and 235, that God's will for me is perfect happiness. That's a height of happiness in which you see the purpose of the lesson shining clear and perfectly within your learning grasp. That's just a beautiful thing. That's just a beautiful thing, because I had to have this experience for us to be having this conversation, all to be reminded. And I didn't No, I didn't know when I put the workbook lesson 235, Regis' birthday lesson, on the screen that would be. I mean, I wanted you to see it. I wanted Regis to see it, and all that. And I enjoy, I enjoy putting it together. But I didn't know just how much that would be a part of what I needed for my healing today. Thank you, family, for all this. For from this lowest point will learning lead to heights of happiness in which I want to cry again, but now they're happy tears, in which you see the purpose of the lesson shining clear and perfectly within your learning grasp. It's right here, and all I had to do was reach for it. All I had to do was, I didn't want to play. I was actually going to read about fear and punishment today, but clearly that's not going to happen. Um, um, I had to my willingness, because the course teaches that the R word, the R word. Okay, I don't have it. I don't have it. It'll come to me when it does. Um, revelation. There it is. That revelation might come, but revelation doesn't mean that you're gonna that doesn't mean the action comes after that. Revelation doesn't lead to mastery. The willingness actually leads to the mastery. The ability, leads to mastery. So I could have sat in here and read all this and this and that, and and done and stayed with when I came on. I said, well, I'm not feeling I'm not feeling this today, and I'm gonna do this. Just kind of be with me on this, family, because I'm not feeling this. Could have stayed there. I could have. But I didn't want to. I did not want to. I did not want to. I didn't want to. I thank you. I appreciate that. And in the chat, let's see. Karen wrote that the only hope is and that's in quotation marks, is in the right mind. Only the right mind. Hey, Sharon. Good to see your face, loved one.
I was walking the dog, so I go
Oh,
back and forth. So that's why I just want to say that every time you teach, it's so beautiful, so beautiful. And I want to say one other thing. Regis, you're substituting. That's what I'm doing too. I substitute on Mondays and Fridays. So
all right.
just for
All
extra
right.
money. And I also love it. I love kids. But
I love
you're
children
a
too.
phenomenal teacher. You are phenomenal.
I get by with a little help from my friends. Thank you. I can't do it alone. I'm so glad I can't do it alone. I so we're all phenomenal teachers, because all things are lessons. All things we're teaching, whether
Yeah.
we're speaking, whether I have my mouth open or not. Every move I make, I'm teaching something. And that's why with children, it's important how we act in front of children is so important, because they hear what we say, but they watch what we do. And that applies to adults too, us adult children.
Yeah.
We hear what you say, but we watch what you do. And
Let
what
me
you
say
do,
the whole,
speaks so loudly that I can't hear what you're saying, huh?
oh, now I'm going to forget what I was going to say. Doesn't matter. It's just words. I'll just be.
Hopefully it'll come back. Hopefully. Uh, so that's an expression I particularly like. What you do speaks so loudly I can't hear what you say. So you can talk all the stuff you want. I'm watching. I'm watching. And that applies to myself too, because I might say, I want the peace of God. I want the peace of God. And the whole time intentionally acting in a way that's contrary to that. But that's the choice here. Okay, so now I'm going to continue reading the chat. And see, I can read the chat this way. And a reminder, there is no hope in the world. Of course, we already read that. All healing comes at the level of mind. Of course, it's nothing, and it's not that I can do anything. It's the recognition. It's the recognition. I think it was workbook lesson 188 that says that, it's not, it is 188. I know it's 188. But it asked the question, why wait for heaven? The peace of God is shining in me now. Workbook lesson 188. Let's see. You all can't see the screen because you see me. Oh, I get it. I think I'm starting to understand now. If I go back home and go to the workbook and go to workbook lesson 188, 188, bam. And then I come over here and I share screen and go to screen number 2. Perfect. The question asks in the first paragraph, and I'm only going to do the first paragraph here. Why wait for heaven? Why wait till things get better? Why wait for someone to come and apologize? And what if they can't? What if there's no physical way for them to do that? What if they can't apologize? What if they don't want to apologize? What if why wait for heaven? Why wait for something? Why wait? The early on it says in the course it says the kingdom is me. The first quote, the Egyptian proverb that I put up there, the kingdom of heaven is within me. I am the kingdom. Being and having is the same. Why wait for what you already are? Why wait for heaven? Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. The light is in them now. Enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. It's not a change at all. I need do nothing. I need do nothing. Light is not of the world, yet you who bear the light in you are alien here as well. The light came with you from your native home and stayed with you because it is your own. It was always here. It's always here, already here. It is the only thing you bring with you from him who is your source. Your source, my source, the source, one source, one source, one source, one source. It's already here. It's already here. The peace of God is shining in me now because now I'm just seeing it. The peace of God is always there. The peace of God is always there. There's a passage in the Bible, which I'm going to paraphrase it. It's about putting the lamp under a bushel, but hiding your light, basically. It's about hiding your light. If the light is always there, I choose to hide it. And if I choose to hide it, then I can't see it and no one else can either. And then I wonder why things are going so terribly for me, why people are being so mean to me, why to me, that whole thing. But Regis brought that up early on. The light that we put out is what comes back to us. He brought the light. He brought Everybody Loves Regis with him to Colorado from Tennessee. Everybody loves Regis. They're still going to love Regis. Hiring him on the spot and all that kind of stuff. I like that, brother. I really do like that. So the light came with you. The light is already here from your native home. That it's already here and stayed with you because it's your own. It's the only thing you bring with you from him who is your source. The only thing I bring with me from life, God, spirit, truth. That is my source. It shines in me because it lights my home and leads me back to where it came from, and I am at home. And you are at home, already there, already there. I'm going to bring this down so I can go back to reading the chat, because there's a lot in there, a lot. Did you remember what it was, Sharon? All healing comes to the level of mind. Okay. The purpose of the world is to keep you mindless. The purpose, yes, the purpose of the world is to keep you mindless. What is it? Seek and do not find. Seek and do not find. Seek and do not find. Be mad. Walk around in fear. Go ahead. Go into the rabbit hole. Go into that place of depression. Focus only on yourself. Keep believing that you're separate. Keep believing that God is out there, seeing you when you're sleeping and knowing when you're awake and knowing if you've been bad or good. So being good for goodness sake. All that. Mindlessness. Sleep of forgetfulness. Oh my God. Letting my mind wander, not engaging with God, not guarding my thoughts. Mindlessness. from workbook lesson 158, today's lesson, what has been given you? The knowledge that you are a mind, small m, in mind, capital M mind, as in science of mind, and purely mind, sinless forever, holy, that is completely unafraid, because you were created out of love. We were created out of love. That's why God's will for me is perfect happiness. That's why God wills that I be happy. I was created out of love. I am love. I am what God is. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. I am. I am. And remembering that I am, being not engaging with God in the I am, recognizing that I am that I am. I am that. I am. I am. That I am. I am what God is. Ooh, and over and over and over again. Repetition. Emma Curtis Hopkins says that repetition, when you learn the ABCs, you learn a song, it's always through repetition. Repetition, 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 repetition. If you don't remember anything else today, you might remember that I said the word repetition a whole lot of times, just because I said it a whole lot of times. Go ahead, Regis.
Yeah. And when is it that I am? Now. The only place that I am is now. And that's the words that really stuck out to me in the previous two paragraphs. The first one you read was
From chapter 31, what Lynn posted first.
Was
why would you seek to try another road, another person, or another place when you have learned the way the lesson starts, but to not. You know what? Let me see if I can put it on the screen. Let me do this. Let me copy this here, and let me go to the PowerPoint. Let me take you with me so you can take you all with me. Yeah, we're gonna do this together. You can't see the one thing you can't see is the chat, but you can see, going back to screen two, is the you see that's not what I want you to see, because I want to come back to the PowerPoint. So I have to stop share again and share again. One day they're going to figure out a way to do this differently. And
you have
I'm talking about to go back and forth without let's see, you should be seeing Regis now.
If you have them both up on your same screen, you can just click back and forth between them.
Oh, it's easy enough with two screens to go back and forth.
Well, but you don't have to go out of screen share. You can
say
just
that again
click
now.
into the screen you want to show, and it'll show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I was referring to was the one that you put in from A Course in Miracles.
From the last one I put in the court. Okay.
From Lynn.
That was from Lynn, right? From chapter 31. Okay, so you're saying I don't have to stop the share. You see Regis right now.
Right.
And if I wait a minute, let me see it. I have to figure out what you just said. So if I go into the course,
there it is.
You see the course?
Yep.
Oh, really? Oh my God. All right. So thank you. So it doesn't take much to please me. Wait a minute. It's coming up with an advertisement. I get these advertisements all the time. That goes away. Then I go back to the course and I go to text chapter 31. Oh my goodness. I don't have to go back and forth. That's one of the advantages of having the second screen. Oh, y'all don't know what y'all just did for me. Oh, all that back and forth stuff. All right. And we're going to paragraph 4. You're all with me here.
Yep.
Okay. I'm getting rid of that. Okay. All right. There it is, Regis.
Look at that.
Now, what was it that let me see. You said something about the now part?
Yeah. Down near, scroll up a little bit. Let's see. Okay. Let's see.
Why would you seek to
Yeah.
try to run away?
That was a Freudian slip when you was reading that, because it says make fast. Sentence number 7.
Okay.
Make fast your learning now. Now. And then in the other paragraph, the light is in me now. I
Mhm.
am now. And the point that the now is bringing out to me is, and it says it right after that, make fast your learning now. And why put it off? Sometimes we get stuck in a friend of mine in Texas who I love, and I agree with her. She says, closure is overrated. You know, we I can't be happy until call this person and we got to have a talk about it. It says, make fast your learning now. The light is in you now. I am. When is it that I am? That I am now. And sometimes we get stuck in. Uh, we got all of these rules that we make up. That, well, I got to talk to him first. I got to have some closure first. We got to talk about it. We got to process it. We got to uh, unpack it. But it's saying, make fast your learning now. The light is in you now. Uh, why put off happiness? You know, it's, and sometimes we want to, what's the word I'm trying to use? Uh, our idea of empathy. We slip into the world's or idea of empathy, and we say, well, let me relate to your story for a while. Don't let me get to the truth of your story now. Let me relate to your feelings and your emotions and your story for a few minutes, and then we'll get to the truth of it. uh, but we speak to it now. It's not uh, disrespecting, it's not belittling, but the truth is now. And so the now is what's really uh, sticking out to me, that I don't have to procrastinate. I don't have to go through these rituals uh, that the ego thought system has put together to put off the nowness of who I am and the nowness of happy. I can be happy now. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to make any phone calls. I don't have to correct any situation. Uh, I can go to the learning now. And that now is what's really speaking to me as we read those paragraphs, the 188 and the previous one. The peace of God is shining in me now.
Yes. And that's what you see on the screen, right? Tell me that's what you
Yep.
see on the screen? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Woo! This will be all pretty and colorful when I come back on Monday. Y'all are going to, oh yeah, we remember this. Oh yeah, we did this. We're going to everything that's in the chat. Anything you want to put, anything you want on the screen for Monday, put it in the chat today, because that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Um, so we're back to that. Okay, learn now. Make fast your learning now. The peace of God is shining in me now. Dr. Ernest Holmes says there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. now. Good. Tim. Karen?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I just kind of want to piggyback off of what Regis shared. Thank you, Regis. I agree with everything you said. And it also reminds me, and I love the holographic nature of this course. In chapter 5, he says, delay can be tragic in time because I'm delaying happiness now. And this learning that he's talking about here, no longer look for hope where there is none. Make fast your learning now and understand you but waste time unless you go beyond what you have learned. So for me, the miracle saves time. And I'm wasting time when I'm holding a grudge. I'm wasting time when I'm judging. I'm wasting time when I'm believing in what someone's interpretation of me is, when I really, it doesn't mean anything because that has nothing to do with me, And if I'm going to allow it to upset me, then I have to look within and see why I'm allowing that to upset me,
Mm-hmm.
But this learning for me is forgiveness. Make fast your learning now and understand that you but waste time unless you go beyond. And then he says it again, for from this lowest point will learning, I put forgiveness there. Forgiveness lead to heights of happiness to which you see the purpose of the lesson shining clear and perfectly within your learning grasp. So I can forgive rather than delay, rather than see this brother as my enemy and see this brother as attacking me or just not doing what I think he should, and just be happy now. So I've experienced this delay that can be tragic in time, and it is everything Regis said. It's only happy now. There's no closure that needs to be done. The closing is right now because there's only now. Thank you.
Thank you. Delay does not matter in eternity, but it is tragic in time. Yes. Yes. Thank you for that. And you all are seeing me do this on the screen. I'm just asking for clarification here because this is like blowing my mind that you all are seeing this. You all are seeing what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Is that right?
It's
We
like
are
art.
we are watching the process. And thank you for sharing. You're
Zulma,
giving you're giving PowerPoint lessons to somebody.
yeah, she is so good at presentation. I'll tell you, Zulma is so good at it.
Well, actually, I had a class before I start, just before, actually after I started putting slides up, but I had we had a class and I had to go back and thank her because what she taught I chose to learn because I thought, well, this will be fun. I mean, it's one thing. There's a thing, you could talk about it. People don't remember that necessarily, but show and tell, actually, you get, sometimes you're using more of the senses. And the more senses you can use, the easier it is to take in something. And then when there's engagement, in interaction, even more so because you have to embody if you're living from truth, you're embodying what you're saying, what you're feeling, what you're doing, and it all becomes it's I had to thank her. So I just, all that about, making things move and all that. Um, um, all that I learned how to do that from her to make it in a way that I could understand it. Because now, since you're taking lessons, if anybody is at this point, if I go into slideshow mode and go from current slide, oh no, if I'm not mistaken, what you see is Regis right now. Is that correct?
That is
Yep.
correct.
Okay. Because that just took me back. I didn't know it was going to take me back to where I was because it's doing two different. I'm learning things. So, and it's time, isn't it? It's after 11.
Yeah,
Oh my,
thank you, Wilma.
it really is. Oh my God, this has been so much fun. And
Yeah.
we never even got to that. We never got to finish 235, but we know that this is Regis's birthday lesson. God in his mercy wills that I be saved. it has been very good for me. I hope I hope it was as good for you as it was for me. And thank you, family. Thank you so, so much. Regis, I will send you this momentarily. Everything that's in the chat, I'm saving the chat, and everything that's in the chat will end up on a slide. And we'll talk about that on Monday, I trust. Love you all, family. And Lynn, here's the mic. Oh, wait. I didn't save. Can't leave yet. Can't go yet.
You don't have to, don't leave.